We at the Everything Red Deer podcast acknowledge that it is recorded on Treaty 6 and Treaty 7 land, as well as on a historic gathering place of the Métis. We thank the elders and knowledge keepers who remain with us today and those who've gone before us. This acknowledgement is small, but meant nonetheless as an act of reconciliation and gratitude.
Local, credible, now. You're listening to the Everything Red Deer podcast, powered by rdnewsNOW. We talk to the movers, shakers, and newsmakers around Red Deer and Central Alberta, then bring those interviews to you. And now, here's your host, Josh Hall.
Hello there. Yes, we are back for the second episode of the Everything Red Deer podcast. It's a double edition this week, except it'll be about half as long as the first. By the way, I hope you enjoyed that chat with Red Deer Mayor Ken Johnston last week as we launched this endeavor here at rdnewsnow.com. If you've yet to hear that interview with Red Deer Mayor Ken Johnston, check it out on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. There's also a link to it on our website. And we also wrote a story earlier this week about the point-in-time homeless count with some stuff from the mayor, and the podcast is available through that article as well. Check out our Red Deer section at rdnewsnow.com for that. Speaking of our website, watch rdnewsnow.com over the next couple weeks because, as usual, we will have a slew of year-in-review stories with local mayors and other organizations. And there'll even be some bonus content from our chat with the mayor and an additional interview we did with him at City Hall earlier this week. This week on the pod, as mentioned, it's a double dip. First, we chat with Jula Lewis, club admin at the Red Deer Titans Rugby Club, which has been around for over 50 years, by the way. And then Ian Wheelaker, executive director at the Outreach Center, talking about the ongoing Holiday Hope and Adopt a Family campaigns. They also have a thing called Adopt a Senior, just as important. But before we dive into those interviews, I'll just say that since it's the holidays and we're not exactly sure what this podcast schedule will look like as people take time off, myself included, if I don't get another chance, have an amazing time with family. And I do encourage you to commit to doing something over the holidays, or maybe it's in 2025, big or small. Commit to doing something that builds up your community. There's no better time of year to do it than now, right? Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, joyous Kwanzaa, and a Happy New Year to you and all of your loved ones. Lastly, I would love to hear from you. If you have feedback or ideas about the podcast, email josh at rdnewsnow.com. That's JOSH at rdnewsnow.com. Also, this week, I would like to ask you, what's one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self if you could go back in time and speak with them? Send your responses, again, to josh at rdnewsnow.com. And in the new year, we'll talk about some of your ideas. All right, now here is our first interview with Jula Lewis of the Red Deer Titans Rugby Club. Enjoy.
So for youth, we're doing youth flag rugby starting January 8th and going until the end of March. It's once a week for those 3 months. And for youth, it's U9 to U13, and we're doing, people are very familiar with flag football. It's very similar to that, but it's rugby rules. So no contact. It's just, instead of a tackle, you grab a flag. And so we're working on skill-based, but mostly in a flag game. We're separating these kids into teams, and then they play weekly. Yeah.
And this is indoors or out?
Yeah, it's at the Colquitt Center, at the soccer pavilion, I'm guessing. So, yeah, that's what we're doing it. All the dates and all the registration information is all on our website for youth and senior. Mm-hmm. It's www.titansrugby.com.
Okay. How many different divisions are there?
So there's only 2. So we're doing the youth, and then we're doing juniors and seniors together. So U16, U18, and seniors together. We have a couple coaches coming for the senior one, so it's not going to be all the kids and all the adults with one coach. It's going to be separate, but we put them all at the same time. But the youth is together at a different time. Okay. Yeah, so we're just broadcasting it or marketing it as youth and senior. Yeah.
About how many people took part last year?
So we actually didn't have a youth winter training last year. We couldn't find the coaches, and we were too late to book times in Red Deer. It's insane. You have to like book a year in advance. So we didn't have any place available. So we actually didn't do youth last year. So we don't know. But this year we're hoping to have quite a bit. Like at each session, we're hoping for at least 30 kids, probably 30 to 50.
Cool.
Yeah, we've been marketing it quite a bit. So we have a lot of interest so far. With senior, it'll probably be even more, probably like about 50. And then we'll split it into 2 groups.
So for the senior teams, like, are you guys playing, is there a league that you play in? Or?
Oh, yeah. So we have, so like I said, like U5 to about, I think it's U15. They're technically our youth group. So youth, they have their own league. We play with the CRU, which is the Calgary Rugby Union. So they play every weekend in Calgary, which is unfortunate. But sometimes we have games in Red Deer. Yeah. We play with the Calgary Rugby Union for our senior women's and senior men's as well. So we travel to like Edmonton, Calgary. The men's team like travels to Banff sometimes and plays. And so, yeah, we play in different leagues and I guess division within the Calgary Rugby Union. Yeah.
What's the type of time commitment to be on the senior team?
Senior team is we practice on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, and then games are always on Saturdays. So 3 days a week.
For how many months?
From May till August.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like a good 4 months of playing a lot of rugby. Yeah. So I think fees kind of reflect that too. It's like, it seems expensive at first, but then you're like, this is 4 months of playing and having a really good facility to play in.
Is the venue still out along Highway 2A there?
It is, yeah. So we have, it's on Waskesiu Avenue off of Mackenzie Drive, like just south of Gasoline Alley.
Right.
Yeah. Yep, we still are out there, and we have 2 amazing fields and a great clubhouse, and yeah.
Cool. Like obviously hockey gets a lot of attention in the winter, and football is in the at some point.
Fall
I think different,
to winter, yeah.
I would guess what do you say to people to appeal to them to join rugby? It's one of those that I guess maybe doesn't get as much attention.
Exactly, yeah. So rugby is tough, especially with like the male population and the youth boys and stuff, because if they want to play a contact sport, they usually go to football or hockey. And it's tough to get them to come play rugby. It's usually because like their parents have played or something like that. But we love to see more youth girls and women out because they have limited access to contact sports. I don't think even hockey is a contact sport for them. I'm not sure.
I think so.
Yeah. So they don't have a lot of options. And I love when, we find those people that just haven't been able to like really enjoy a sport because it's not the type of contact or the type of athletic endeavor that they want. And that's why I love to have new youth girls that are like really into more of a contact sport. So we do like that. It's nice to like recruit girls for sure. We do have a challenge recruiting boys, and especially if they're in high school, they'll probably play football. That's a good alternative for them. But just to try something different, I like to call it the ultimate team sport, because it was originally a sport to help men get ready for war. So, those 8 people in the scrum, they're all working towards, battling against the other 8 people. Yeah. And then those really fast, agile people are in the back, finishing the tries or whatever. And it's like war. It's like going to war with these 15 people. And it just bonds you like no other sport. I've played a lot of sports, but I'm biased, but I love rugby for that. It's just the ultimate team sport, I find.
So is it just 15-a-side that you do, or do 7s? Or?
So we do tours sometimes. So tours are like little, I guess, like tournaments. You can't do rugby tournaments with 15s because it's just such a brutal game that tournaments are just way too hard. So if you do a tournament style, you do 7s. So sevens is a way shorter game, way less players. It's brutal still, but it's only 14 minutes of play. Right. So you can make a tournament out of it. So sometimes we do that.
Easier to recover.
Exactly, yeah. But not really. No, it's so exhausting, but yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we do those at times. We'll get together. Usually they're social tournaments. So like maybe 2 or 3 social tournaments a year we'll go into. And you dress up in funny costumes, whatever the theme is to these. They're really fun. And, you know, sometimes you play with like a beer in hand type of thing. And it's like, yeah, it's mostly just social that we do for tournaments. Mm-hmm. But for the younger ages, like U16s, U18s, they usually go on one big sevens tournament a year. Very seriously. They take it seriously. They don't, you know, dress up in costumes. But yeah, so for them, they go on tours quite often, which is nice.
If you could, tell me one more time where people can go to do the tryouts, and then where can they get more information? Yeah, so like I said, for youth from U9 to U13, anyone is welcome. It's not like a tryout thing necessarily for this winter. They can go on our website, titansrugby.com, and they can find all of the registration and fee, and they can pay all online on our website. It's all there. And then same thing for the seniors. So it's once a week for 3 months in the winter at Collicutt Center. And they can go online. They can follow all the registration processes and pay all online. Yeah. On our titansrugby.com. Cool.
Yeah. Yep. And if they want to continue and play into our spring and summer season, they can register through our website as well, and then just continue. We practice at our club, though, in the spring and summer. But, yeah, during the winter, we have to practice inside, obviously. So, yeah.
That was Jula Lewis of the Red Deer Titans Rugby Club. And without further ado, here's Ian Wheelaker, Executive Director at the Outreach Center. And we jump right in with Ian, talking about the ongoing Holiday Hope and Adopt a Family campaigns.
So each Christmas, obviously, for the charitable sector, it's a big time for people to come out and support the causes that they believe in the community. And what we like to do every year is to partner with the Christmas Bureau and to provide holiday hope, truly, for low-income single parent families. And so last year we raised $98,000, well, just about $100,000, and $98,000 went out to low-income families. When you're out there talking to the public, you realize that a lot of people don't know who we are and what we do.
How long does the campaign actually run?
Adopt a Family and the Holiday Hope campaigns are going to run right up until Christmas. Okay. We'll even get a few donations in after Christmas.
Okay.
We're accepting applications now for those that need the help going into the holidays, and we'll be accepting applications for people right up until the 20th of December.
Okay.
And the donations from community will literally keep coming in right up until Christmas Eve. There's a number of people that support us every year, especially this time of year. The Lions being one, Kinsmen, another great group of people, Kinkinettes. Every year they manage to find something for us, and they help us out. And they help out so many other agencies in the community as well.
So you mentioned that a lot of people don't necessarily know what the Outreach Center does. And the Outreach Center does a lot of things. It's a pretty wide range of programming that is offered and services and whatnot. Is it even possible to put it into a nutshell what the Outreach Center is all about?
Well, there's 4 main areas that we provide services in. One is a broad range of services in domestic violence, intimate partner violence. The second is our housing programs. So we do rapid rehousing and homelessness prevention. We do suicide education and prevention. We're in all the schools from K to 12 doing suicide education with young people. And then we do the community helper program under that program as well. We do poverty reduction, and so Holiday Hope and tools for schools, helping families during really tough times of year to get through the financial crunches. That's our poverty programs. And then the last program that we're involved in is just overall wellness and mental health. So we're involved in all those key areas.
Is it fair to say that even though maybe it might be hard to put a number on it, but the Outreach Center in all of its various ways has touched a pretty large chunk of Red Deerians?
It has Central Albertans, yeah, because we work throughout Central Alberta.
Yeah.
And so direct services, we, provide counseling and supports to about 8,000 people a year. And then through our education and prevention programs, about another 8,000. So, this year we can be serving 16,000, 17,000 people from all around Central Alberta in one way or another in our programs. And this year we did an agency-wide evaluation wanting to know the impact, what's changed for people as a result of their connection with us.
Okay.
And we found out from their voices, that their safety has improved if there's domestic violence or if they weren't, in a safe situation.
Okay.
Their connection to family and to community has improved.
Yep.
Their overall health has improved. Their hope has improved. And there's a number of other areas where they've told us that because of the programs and services, they're doing better. Stability is another one. So we know that the programs and services that we offer are making a difference. We want to be able to prove that we're making a difference, but we're also doing evaluations so we can improve and really let the client guide us in terms of where we need to do better. And so some of that work is in addictions, making sure that we're always culturally welcoming and inclusive, and helping people to gain a better understanding of their mental health and mental well-being.
What might be some of your goals or areas of improvement that you want to focus on? Are there, and you kind of touched on that, but are there any other kind of new programs or services that you might be bringing in?
Well, one of the areas that I've been working on for the past number of months and talking to everybody that'll listen is in the non-market housing. So we all know that affordable rent is very, very challenging. And there's not that much available, and it's not that affordable. So all the agencies that we partner with, we're all saying the same thing. We need non-market, truly affordable housing that's somewhere in the range of 60% of what market rentals are going for. We have ideas about sort of building them in a sustainable way. So all we need is $12 million, and we can get this project up and running. So if anybody's listening today and would like to donate $12 million, we'd be happy to get that project running. But we are looking at Canada Mortgage and Housing, and other options. Okay. But we want to build it so that we can leverage the equity in what we've already built and continue to build non-market housing for as long as we need to make sure that everybody that's struggling to find affordable housing can find it.
Right. I know we chuckle about when we say the number 12 million, but it's actually an incredibly important thing to see to fruition, right?
Oh, it is. And when you look at really honestly what the feds have committed to affordable housing and housing development in Canada, it's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep talking about that, and we are going to find people that are really interested in that particular program, because the way we want to build it is not only putting a roof over people's heads, but also giving them a ladder out of poverty. So the idea would be that the revenue that we generate from being the landlords, we want to put that money back into the families in two streams. One, an education stream, so they can continue their education, get a better paying job, and get out of poverty that way. Or two, in a home ownership stream where they start saving and we're contributing towards their down payment, and they get into the market. There's two ways to get out of poverty. One is education and the other is property ownership. So we want to build that into our non-market housing program as well.
How can people still contribute to the Holiday of Hope?
Well, they can either come by the center anytime Monday to Friday. We're at 4101 54th Avenue, or they can just go to our website, and all they have to do is go www.outreach, and you'll find our website, and there's a Donate Now button. Makes it easy. So either way works.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much, Ian.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This has been the Everything Red Deer podcast, powered by rdnewsNOW. This podcast is produced and edited by the team at rdnewsNOW and Pattison Media Red Deer. Make sure to download our mobile app and subscribe to our free daily newsletter by visiting rdnewsnow.com. Thanks for listening.